Alright, today we are looking at day 11 notes. This is parallel and perpendicular lines. So our goal is that I can relate slope to parallel and perpendicular lines. This is more Algebra 1, so hopefully you remember it. Here's what we know. If two non-vertical lines are parallel, their slopes are equal. So here's kind of our big idea. If we have the same slope, we have parallel lines. Any vertical lines are parallel. So if you have the same slopes, you have parallel lines. Wow, that did not write well. If you have perpendicular lines, what you're going to do is you're going to have opposite reciprocal slopes. So what that means is opposite. That means different sign. Reciprocal means flip your fraction. And if you don't have either of those, well then it's neither. So in this example it says, are the lines parallel? So step 1 says we want to put it in slope-intercept form if necessary. Well, we know that slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. So if I look at this first equation here, that is not in y equals mx plus b form. So let me put that into y equals mx plus b. So that means I have to get the y all by itself. So my equation is y equals negative 2/5 x minus 1/5. So here, my slope, right, the slope is always that thing attached to the x. So here my slope equals negative 2/5. Okay, if I look at this second equation, it's almost in slope-intercept form. All I have to do is get that y all by itself. So 10y equals negative 4x minus 20, I'll divide all the sides by 10. So I get y equals negative 2/5, reduce my fraction, x minus 2. Once again, this right here is my slope, so here m equals negative 2/5. Well, since these both equal the same, our answer is yes, they're parallel. Our explanation, they have the same slope. Alright, are the lines parallel? Explain using slopes. So what we want to do is find the slope of these lines. So I'm going to start with this one here. I'll start with this point, and I'm going to go down 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So my slope here is negative 2 over 4. That's negative 1/2. Now I'll do the same thing for this line. So I start here, I go down 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that one is negative, oh, let me do a different color. So this one is negative 3 over 6, which is negative 1/2. So are these lines parallel? Yes, they have the same slope. I want you to try this one. Alright, now it says write the equation of a line parallel to this one that contains this point. Well, if I have a point and a slope, I want to use point-slope form. I know that my point-slope form is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So I'm going to plug in. I know that my point is negative 2, 5. So I'm going to go y minus, well, my y value is 5. Equals my m. Well, to find my m, I look here. This m, and I'm going to make a note to myself, that m is negative 1. So that means that this m has to be negative 1. X minus, well, if this here, then I know that this point down here has to be negative 2. And I'll make those into one big plus sign, just not to confuse myself. Alright, so we wrote that equation. Let's get this into slope-intercept form. So I'm going to go y minus 5 equals negative x minus 2. So my equation is y equals negative x plus 3. I have the same slope. of -1, so I know that these two are indeed parallel. Alright, now when we're looking at perpendicular slopes, remember that perpendicular means opposite reciprocal. So what we have to do is select one, put into slope-intercept form. This one is already in slope-intercept form for us. Yes. So for this first line, I'm going to say that my slope equals -2/9. For this one, it's not in slope-intercept form right now, so let's change that. So I'm going to have to do y equals -9/2x minus 7. Here, my slope is -9/2. Now, if I look at these, they are opposites. No, they're not opposites. We got to look at our thing. Are they opposite reciprocals? So yes, they're reciprocal. No, they're not opposite. So no, they're not perpendicular. When we say explain, our slopes are not opposite. So let's look here. Are these lines perpendicular? Explain using slope. So we're going to start with this line right here. And I go down 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So here my slope is -4/4, which equals -1. For this line, I'm starting here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this one is 6/6, which equals 1. So they need to be opposite reciprocals. Well, yes, they're opposites because this is a -1 and this is a +1. And technically they're reciprocals because that's 1/1 and that's 1/1. So yes. Why? Our slope is opposite reciprocal. I want you to try part B. Alright, now it says write an equation of a line perpendicular of 5y minus x equals 10 that contains the point 15, -4. So once again, we need to find the slope of this line. That's where we always need to start, is finding that slope. So here, it's not in slope-intercept form. We're going to get it in slope-intercept form. Oh. So I know that the slope of this one is 1/5. To find my perpendicular slope, I need to make it the opposite, so since this one is positive, this one needs to be negative. Since this is 1/5, that one needs to be 5/1. So now I have my slope, and I have my point of 15, -4, so I'm going to go y minus -4 equals, well, my slope is -5 times the quantity of x minus 15. Alright, then we'll go ahead and solve. Get this in slope-intercept form, so I'm going to want to make that a plus. So y plus 4 equals -5x plus 75. So y equals -5x minus, nope, plus 71. And so that is, oh, here we go. Didn't see this. So the slope that I had was 1/5. The perpendicular slope I needed was -5. That's the thought process that you're going through whenever you do these kinds of problems. Alright, so our goal was that I could relate, oh, I didn't put that slide in. I could relate slope and parallel and perpendicular lines. So circle what you know now, and we'll have a great day.